What's happening around the world? It's time for another serving of News Bites.
最近国际上发生了哪些大事？午餐搭配 ICRT News Bites， 慢慢的一口接一口吸收最新时事趣闻。
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of News Bites. I'm Nancy Sun.
And I'm Trevor Tortomasi.
In today's news, cats get a new office.
A clock gets a second chance.
And a Kardashian gets richer.
All that and more coming up next.
Top of Taiwan.
新北猴硐猫公所筹备处挂牌 Hotong opens cat public office.
Have you ever been to Taiwan's cat village?
Hotong Village in New Taipei used to be a busy mining town, 采矿小镇, in the early 1900s. But by 1990, most young people moved away to look for jobs somewhere else, and only about 100 lived in Hotong.
About 20 years later, Hotong suddenly became famous again after a photographer started blogging about the stray cats in the village. Lots of people visited and enjoyed the cat village.
But the number of cats living there started to grow. And some of the cats were not very healthy. And some pet owners started abandoning 弃养, their cats there too.
So New Taipei decided to make a change. Hotong has now opened a cat public office.
The office will give every Hotong cat an ID, 身份证, and put a tiny little computer chip onto each cat, 植入晶片. And the office will also be a medical center, 医疗站, for the cats.
Inside, there are beds for cats to rest on. And there's also lots of catnip, 猫薄荷, growing outside.
And volunteers at the office will walk through the village many times a day to check if all the cats are safe.
Officials say they want to make Hotong Village a cat paradise.
猴硐猫公所筹备处开了以后，政府希望可以给猫咪一个能安居的家，也呼吁民众千万不要随意在猴硐猫村弃养猫只。
Going global.
百年时钟，地震后沉睡，地震中醒来。Clock stopped by earthquake and tsunami restarts.
A 100-year-old clock in Japan that stopped after a big earthquake 10 years ago has started working again.
The clock is in a temple, 寺庙, in the Miyagi region.
In March 2011, a magnitude 9.1 earthquake and tsunami, 海啸, hit Japan, killing more than 18,000 people. The clock and the temple was underwater during the tsunami.
After the water was gone, the head priest at the temple, Bunshun Sakano, found the clock. He cleaned it and tried to fix it, but the clock would not start working again.
Then in February this year, another earthquake hit. Scientists think it was an aftershock, 余震, of the giant 2011 quake.
The next morning, Sakano was checking the temple to see if anything was broken by the earthquake. He heard a ticking sound.
To his surprise, the clock was moving again.
The company that made the clock thinks the second earthquake might have loosened dust inside the clock, and that helped the clock restart.
Sakano says the clock restarting has made him feel inspired, 鼓舞,振奋. He says it is a sign of encouragement.
After the 2011 earthquake, Sakano started working to help people. He brought together volunteers to help everyone rebuild their homes and find jobs. And he even opened a cafe for people whose homes were washed away.
But with the COVID-19 pandemic, Sakano and his team of volunteers found it hard to meet and help others. he started to think maybe he should stop.
But when the clock started ticking again, Sakano knew the clock was telling him not to give up. He says it was showing him how to start moving again.
宫城县寺庙里的百年时钟在2011日本地震海啸后一直故障，今年2月再次经历地震，竟重新开始动了。
Today's feature.
金卡大侠成为亿万富翁。Kim Kardashian officially a billionaire. A celebrity has entered a very exclusive club. Kim Kardashian is now officially a billionaire. Forbes says her net worth passed the $1 billion mark recently. She had been valued at $780 million last October, and recent business deals pushed her over the edge. 金卡大侠的财产现在已经超越10亿美元。Kim recently sold a stake of her cosmetics company for $200 million. She was already quite wealthy, thanks to her family's television show, endorsement deals, and her own businesses. Kim's fortune is likely to keep increasing. She recently launched a new skincare products business that is likely to expand in the future. 今也刚开了一家护肤产品公司。
The recap.
So, in today's News Bites, Hotong has now opened a cat public office. The office will also be a medical center, 医疗站, for cats.
Inside, there are beds for cats to rest on, and there's also lots of catnip, 猫薄荷, growing outside. Officials say they want to make Hotong Village a cat paradise.
A 100-year-old clock in Japan that stopped after a big earthquake 10 years ago has started working again.
The clock stopped after it was underwater during the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. But after an earthquake in February this year, the clock started working again.
And Kim Kardashian is now officially a billionaire. Forbes say her net worth passed the $1 billion mark recently.
She was already quite wealthy thanks to her family's television show, endorsement deals, and her own business.
And that's today's episode of News Bites.
This week, we want you to have your say about dreams. Dreams are the images we see and the ideas we have when we are asleep. Dreams can be just a few seconds long, or they can last up to 30 minutes. They can be happy and peaceful, but sometimes scary. What is your favorite dream that you can remember? Record your message and send it to newsbites@icrt.com.tw with your name and age, and if you like, the name of your school. Make sure to send us your recording by Thursday at noon, and you might hear your message on our show on Friday.
ICRT 与教育部国民及学前教育署下次继续和您聊新闻。ICRT App 和网站也能重复收听。
More local and international news next time on News Bites. Brought to you by K-12 Education Administration. Find past episodes available on the ICRT website and app.